Hello, everybody. I am so sorry for having to reschedule today, but I was just not functional. I thought that I would be able to get enough sleep by the time the live would be around, but I definitely not. You know how it is. As you get older, it's harder for you to um, catch up on missed sleep. Anyway, I'm almost there. I'm not entirely um, recovered, but I think I am recovered enough to show you a few tips on how to make faux cloisonne. Now, to get from the beginning to get what cloisonne is, it's a very, very ancient technique. Initially, it involved, because practically you do that, that's the base of it. You have wired precious metal made into wires, creating a design on a base of metal, and then the spaces between the wires are filled with. Now, in the ancient times, those were filled with gemstones, with slivers of gemstones cut to size. Then, as human civilization evolved, and there were all kinds of powders, special powders mixed with a specific type of glue that then would be fired in a kiln that would make the glue evaporate while making all those tiny particles get together, and it would be very shiny. Now, there are many, and even 7 years ago, 8 years ago, when I first started the channel, there were only one or two brands of enamel powder that would work on polymer clay. Now I would presume that there are way more than that. But I'm going to be very, very honest with you. It depends on what level you want to get it on. Because there are some the traditional ones. They are a little bit harder to make, but the more natural, the present, the more modern ones are a little bit easier to make. Let's go a little bit on a display so you can see what I'm talking about. So here we have a traditional, that's a Chinese. The top were the Chinese and the Japanese. There were some artists in Europe also who were doing this, but as you can see, the more modern ones look a little bit different. They are easier to make. This is a classic. As you can see, it's very detailed. It's very it would take a long time to be able to do it with enamel powders, while this is a more modern one, the same as this one, modern one. And if you work on with precious metal clay, then yeah, it would be absolutely worth it to do the real enamel powders and work like that. But to make easier and easier way, make it in an easier way, would be to just use liquid clay. Would be the best thing to use. Now, if you want to imitate cloisonne, you have to know one thing. The first one is that the cloisonne, the areas between the the wires are usually glass-like, they are shiny. The other thing is that the edges right near the wires, it goes a little bit upwards, so you can obtain the same thing if you don't even want to bother with the liquid clay. You can simply use acrylic paint and then use a varnish on the areas that are painted. You can paint with acrylic paint, but be very careful. Do not use resin, because resin domes. It doesn't have, so from the side. So if you would cut through, if you'd get a slice of my pen, if you'd get a slice through the cloisonne, so let's say that this would be the wire, and the wire is usually flattened, right? It's not round. And I'm going to make 3 wires here. Now, the way that the enamel is, it goes a little bit like this. So you need a varnish that would not dome, because it is the physics, it's going to rise a little bit on it. But if you use resin, the resin will dome and it will not look like cloisonne. The other thing is, you're gonna say, well, but how do I do all those wire things? And I do have some older tutorials. Okay, come on. Okay, one of them would be this one. Let me mute it. And let me give you the link. Okay, so here I show you how to use various handmade stamps and how to fill it. And then what I'm using is a diamond glaze. That's the, let me get this one too. So you can see it looks like that. Then the second one, the version 2. Let me share the link so you can get it later. And this is it. I didn't have yet the a camera that would be good enough to do this kind of stuff. And then the third one, in the third one, I actually used practically the whole wire thing. To show you exactly how this thing was done. I first I made myself a pattern on the clay, and then I placed various, just to obtain that effect of the cloisonne, of the enamel with changed patterns. And then I placed so-called wires. This was, and I apologize for the way it looks like, but this was at the time when I had cataracts, and I was working mostly blindly. And then cover with the diamond glaze to give it depth. So there you go, another faux cloisonne, this time showing various color, and that's the diamond glaze. But let's get back to our thing, and I will show you how to easily do all this. So first of all, you need a texture or a stamp that has very deep lines, so that when you apply it on the clay will have very raised lines, and they must not be very thick either. They can be a little bit thicker, but this is to show you these are made by me by hand. You can do something similar. As you can see, it's just simply, they're made simply with a needle, and they will give enough raised areas. Or the other one, that is what we are going to actually use, is I use the butterfly stamp. So we are going to use this butterfly stamp. I like this butterfly stamp a lot in mica shift technique, but it can be however you want it to be. So I have a ton of handmade little textures and things. And also, if you want to do Art Deco or Art Nouveau, you can use this kind of technique with translucent clay, and then all you have to do is to rub some wax on the... Oh, I forgot something. Hold on. Wait just a minute. I forgot to apply. Yeah. Hey. I hope I'm doing it good, but if not, I can always get it back through the pasta machine. Yeah, not really. I need to get it back because the edges are still okay because I can cut them off. So we are good to go. So my next thing is to find my eyeglasses. And then I will gently, very gently, I'm not going to cut out the antennae because that would be way too much. But that is what I'm saying. It is not the whole thing. I mean, you're working with polymer clay, you're working with plastic, and using the liquid clay gives you enough realism that you don't have to. And again, to be very honest, if you do use liquid clay, you're going to get a pretty good realistic effect. But your best bet is still acrylic paints with diamond glaze. It will make it look way better. You can of course use powders. One of the easiest to use is the icy enamels powders, and I think I have a tutorial with that, with a bracelet made with ice enamels. Alrighty, let me see where I have. There we go. And you can get a proper edging here, or you can leave it for sanding it. But I know I didn't do anything with the faux cloisonne with liquid clay. I cut a little bit too much here. And again, I apologize if I'm making mistakes or whatever, but I'm still not in the best of shapes due to the storm we had last night. Because I went to bed a little bit after 11, and the storms woke me up at 2:30. And there was just a wave and a wave and a wave, and they didn't stop until like 7 o'clock. By which time I tried to sleep, but it was too noisy. Okay, so do not use directly the liquid clay on here, because you might drop what is too much. So use a piece of paper I have several colors here. Not you. Okay. So the colors I have here are peacock pearl. This is peacock pearl. This is translucent turquoise. This is also translucent turquoise. And this is navy metallic. And I'm going to use this too. And this is blue. Simply blue. Hey. I thought I did shake it enough. Okay, so I'm going to start with the darkest, and this would be this one. I'm going to Get it all the way in here. Well, this is why I said that the mirror tiles are so good, because they are oven proof and you can move your piece around as much as you want. Okay, now I'm going to do a little bit of combination at this spot in the wing. One thing that is a good idea to do is to actually bake first before starting to apply the glaze. But I had to show you how to do the whole stampy thing. And then after you bake, you can put some, either you put before baking, you can use some, if you don't have any kind of metallic waxes, you can either use some metallic acrylic on the raised areas, or, oops, not you, or mica. I would recommend that you use, if you use mica, I would recommend that you use the Perfect Pearls, because that bakes into the, fuses with the clay, so you don't have to worry about it rubbing off. And another thing, you can use a toothpick like I'm using here, but you can also use a needle. And for best results, use a sewing needle and use it with the, use the eye of the sewing needle, because that will hold on better liquid. And as you can see, that's not a big biggie. And yes, I'm going to use the heat gun on it, so we can look from it to it from all directions. Okay, now I'm going to use this turquoise, not the turquoise, what is this, the peacock. The peacock, I'm going to use it in here. And as I said, you can use other materials. You can use the acrylic paints or other type of paints that would not discolor when baked. That is your main concern on whatever you are using, whatever you decide to use something that will not get discolored when baked. Okay, now I'll get some of this transparent turquoise. I have some neighbors that moved in what used to be my neighbor Mikey's house. So after he died, there was a trust that bought the house, and you know, one of those slumlord trusts. And I had some nice neighbors before that, but they just moved out. And I just hope these ones don't have kids. Don't get me wrong, I have nothing against kids, but the families that lived in that house, that rented that house and had kids, those kids were horrible. Horrible is doesn't even start to describe it. I mean, banshees and without manners and young people who didn't know how to control their kids, in short. As I said, I don't mind kids, but I do mind kids when all they do is scream. And some of you might remember, because you could hear them. Even if I had asked them to please keep the kids inside on Sundays at noon, they were too busy with their phones, I guess. Okay, and now to make one of those enamel thingies, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get some of this peacock pearl and kind of wet it, and then come here and start doing a little bit of this mixing. And this would be it. The most precision you'll have with the acrylics. Besides, with the acrylics, you can grab a piece of a paper towel and dip it in alcohol and then gently rub. But this is pretty much it. As you can see, it does have the look of enamel. Get my colors here. And I hope that my Finnegan didn't play with my heat gun. And there we go. So I'm going to actually take this away to use the heat gun on it, because I don't want to mess up either this or the camera. Okay. I'm going to try and put it here, because it gets too hot. Okay, so you don't have to use the heat gun. You can put this thing directly in the oven without any kind of worries. Now let me get a closer look. And next time I will, I don't know, we might revisit this. Let me get a refocus. Of course, it can be done with a lot more carefulness than what I did, but you can see the whole idea of how to use, and especially after you place metallic wax on the raised areas, it's going to look goldish. It's going to look like metal. And don't forget, you can also use silver You don't have to use gold necessarily. It should be just fine. And then all you do is, obviously, you can place 2 jump rings here and then attach a chain or a cord, or you can place something here and attach a bail here and then attach it to a chain. But it makes a pretty, and if you decide to do any other type of imprint, just go ahead and do that. But give me a second here. I did get some that fell. Hold up. Okay, there are these, you can make that stamp. There are all kinds of little stamps you can get on Amazon. I think that this one is actually in my Amazon. But this is it. This is what I used to make this stamp. If you use the stamp directly on the clay, all the lines will be in. So you want to get the negative of it. So that's what I used for this specific one. But as you can see, there are different all kinds of other ones that can be used, like the bee obviously can be used, and it's really cute. Let me take it out of here. But you don't have to do exactly these ones. There are many of these type of stamps. So yeah, the bee, can you see the bee here, would be perfect for something like this. Even this would be beautiful. There's another smaller and with smaller things, the ladybug. Also, there's another one. So you can use these kind of stamps, and these are fairly cheap. I mean, you can get a whole, let me actually check on my, give me just a second, and I will tell you, I'll be able to show you. Let me find stamps. May not leave you out of the whole thing. So I'm looking for stamps. Stamps, there we go. So as you can see, they are not these ones that are on wood, they are more expensive, but the other ones, they are not. This one, the one that I've shown you, is $5.99. You can see this one probably might be too big. There's another one for $5.99 that has a lot of these that would work perfectly for faux cloisonne, for enamel cloisonne. You also have to be careful so they wouldn't be too big. This one is $9.99, but as I said, they can be cheaper or more expensive. Usually the ones that are super cheap, they have like a month delay. But here there's one that would work beautifully. The butterfly, then the little ginkgo, another butterfly, these would work beautifully. And the leather ones, they are more expensive. But yeah, you can do, this is not that expensive. You can do something like this dandy leather. These are metal. These are metallic. and as you can see, it will leave because it's got the edges raised. It will leave raised like metal wire kind of stuff. This one too, I think I have this Celtic stamp. I'm not entirely sure. Let me check. There we go. I have one from them. No, it is not. This is it's a dragon. This one is a three-headed dragon. It's not a... Hold on, let me check on it. Yeah, I would need to make a reverse for my three-headed dragon. But to get back to this, there are all kinds of... These are large. Do not go for this because these are very large. They don't work for... From this one you would need a negative. But yeah, as you can see, there are quite a bit of sunny. And you can look for others, obviously. You can even use one of these, because this is an embossing. No, it is a clear stamp, so you might need a... And you can also use the embossing hold on, let's go to embossing, because as you know, the embossing ones, they have the innies and the outies, and that can... I guess I passed them. Embossing folders, where's the embossing folders? I think they are in textures. Let's see. A lot of the cool tools you can get, because they do have innies and outies for them. Yeah, see, embossing folders. You can use these as well, because as I said, they have two different parts. And let me see if I have on the powders here, not mica powders, but powders in general. Powders and pigments. I might not have put any enamels here. That wouldn't be good. I thought I had enamels. Apparently I didn't put any enamels. I'm gonna make a new section with enamels. Oh no, there you go, enamels. There you go. The powders that I was telling you about, you can use them. And let's see, not you, but let me get enamel to give you the link to that. I did an enamel powders experiment, but here is the ice resin enamels. Let me share it. Share the link and then get to the end of it so you can see. It's like a ceramic with enameled areas. But yeah, that is it. And I might get to a second one, or maybe just I'm struggling to finish a few videos. Still struggling to finish them. But we'll get on to the how to make the faux enamel cloisonne using acrylic paints. So I'm going to go back, as I don't know, it looks like we are not supposed to have any more bad weather, but the barometer is still on the low side and I'm still tired. I'm gonna go to sleep early tonight. Thank you so much, and I hope you try it yourself because it's a pretty technique and you can get beautiful results with it. See you next Sunday. Hopefully no more weather issues. Thank you. I love you all. Bye.